Boom! Hello and welcome to the Executive Protection Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Byron Rodgers. This podcast is dedicated to the executive protection practitioner, the private security professional. In this podcast, we're going to talk about the mental, emotional, psychological, physiological fitness that goes into being an efficient and effective executive protection agent. Whether you're in law enforcement, whether you're a mom that's looking at how to protect her children, or a father that's focused on how to protect his family, I believe this podcast has something for all of you. We might even get into some tales from the crypts of true Hollywood stories from time to time. I'm doing this podcast because I feel the reality of this job is simple. If you really want to be good at executive protection, it's more than just a job. It really is a lifestyle. And those of you who've been in the game for any serious amount of time, you already know what I'm saying is true. So if that sounds interesting to you, enjoy the show. Out. You are now listening to an EDC episode of the podcast. Please keep in mind that anything that's referenced on the podcast as far as gear is also made available in my Amazon store. So visit Byron's Amazon store to scoop up any of the gear we talk about. And this is a series, man. So the EDC episodes are going to keep coming as I talk with new professionals. And we're going to get more and more information on what people are carrying and operating with out there in the game. Enjoy. Boom. Hey, what's going on, guys? Byron Rodgers here, and we're doing the EDC episode. I'm here with the Christian West. How you doing, sir?
Hey, how you doing, Byron? Christian West here from AS Solution. I guess we're talking about EDC today, huh?
Yes, EDC. I get asked all the time, what do you carry? What do you, what do you guys, what should I bring? And so this episode's all about EDC on your everyday carry. And then if you have anything for specific stuff, like if you have anything for events that you think's good, or maybe even traveling, anything you think that the security practitioner professional could use.
Well, it's kind of an interesting subject for me because a lot of people are really into EDC and really into go backs and all that. And I guess I am too. But for me, it's not really EDC. For me, it's more like living a preparedness lifestyle in everything that you do. Right.
Awesome.
So it's kind of like taking it to the next level because obviously I don't know if I'm a special case or whatever. You always feel like you're a special case.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'm one of those,
you wrote your own story. It's got to be.
Well, I'm one of those guys who's on the road so much that it's very different for me. When I'm home in Seattle, I carry one load. Mm-hmm. When I'm in California, where I have my secondary place, I carry a different load, obviously, because it's in California. Mm-hmm. But the truth of the matter is that I was just counting coming back the day before yesterday, and that was my 54th flight this year. And I've been on 2 flights since, right? So most of my stuff, when you think about it, we're not even 90 days in. I guess we're a little bit more than 90 days in, don't over-exaggerate it. But most of my stuff is based on travel. So I think that what I want to talk the most about is what I carry for travel, because
outstanding.
It's probably the most relevant thing for me, I would think.
Okay, that's awesome.
And for me, I kind of divided my gear in. So I travel, like I said, 250 days, let's say that a year.
Man.
And I travel all over the world. So I kind of live on the road. So for me, there are really 3 things that counts. It is that I have to be able to do my job. I have to be able to survive in an emergency situation. And I also have to live a good life because I'm always on the road. And a lot of people tend to forget that part, right? We're all about our gear, and we're all about what we can bring, and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. It also means I got tons of limitations to it because at the end of the day, TSA decides what I can bring.
Yeah, that's the truth.
So I carry back in Seattle, and in California, of course, I carry a gun like everybody else. I'm a big believer in carrying a pistol, and if you carry as much as you can. Mm-hmm. Carry a pistol, carry a med kit. I usually carry this Focus Research pocket kit, which has all the usual stuff. It has a trauma kit. It has a combat gauze, a SWAT team, medical tape, and then I carry a RATS tourniquet. And I know every type of gear, there's a million opinions of what is the best and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I am a strong believer in the way I was brought up is that what you carry right now is the best. And that's kind of what should be working for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a big believer in that. Right now I carry a stick pistol, the new one, what's it called, the 365.
Yep, I've heard good things about that thing.
Well, I'm also kind of handicapped a little bit because I'm the ultimate gear queer.
Yeah.
I guess I'm the old ultimate gear guy. And,
Really?
By that, I carry gear, and I constantly feel like I'm researching different stuff because I never really found the perfect combination. So I'm always switching. So right now I carry the 6.
Yeah.
It worked pretty well, but I'm no gun guy. So for me, if a bullet comes out when I point it the right way and I'm relatively good at hitting the target, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of training to become an expert.
Yeah, no. Why did you? Is that a pocket-sized medical kit you have? It's like a back pocket-sized IFAC.
Oh, the med kit here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it fits in my front pocket, or it fits in my. I never really wear cargo pants, but if I do, it fits there. But more importantly, it fits in the front pocket of all my backpacks, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I separate my med kit, so I have a trauma kit, and then I kind of have a feel-good kit who has
like a boo-boo kit. That's what we call it.
Exactly. Who has like your cold medicine, your ibuprofen.
Yeah, like Band-Aid
stuff you don't die from, right?
Yeah, for the client, like the kids who skins their knee. Do you happen to have some dental floss and a Band-Aid?
Do you have some Band-Aids? Blah, blah, blah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. But that you score, you know what? This is a solid game because you will score so many points as an agent when the client's like, do you have some Motrin or a Band-Aid or something to help me with this cut?
Exactly. And typically when you have blisters on your shoes from wearing the wrong shoes or whatever. But there's also another thing people have to think about. And I've always taken great pride in being the advance agent. I never really enjoyed being the number one guy. Mm-hmm. So I've always kind of like made advance my game. And then to do that, you have to remember that you're in country about 3 times as long as anybody else on the team, meaning that there's 3 times as much chance of something happening to you. So you need to have a meeting with you. And when you think about that, if you're the advanced guy, you drive the routes at least 3 times, right? Meaning that you're also out in traffic 3 times as much as everybody else, if not 9 times as much as everything. So chances of something happening to you is bigger. So you have to be kind of reliant. You have to be sure that you have your own med kits and stuff like that with you, right?
Yeah, 100%.
When I'm traveling, I'm kind of big on some other stuff.
Real quick, too, question.
Yeah.
So you keep your medical gear as like a second line item in your day pack on your person, or do you keep it like in your vehicle?
Well, I actually have 2 because I don't believe that the few times I've really had an emergency situation with the medical kit, all down for it in the cars, and one of them was in a high-rise in London, and the cars were parked downstairs, and the driver were in the car, and everything was fine. I get on the phone, I call for the med kit. And it still takes 7 minutes to get up there.
Oh, yeah. The
driver has to leave the car. He has to take the med kit with him. He has to go through and get into the building, get on an elevator, go up there, find the right floor, because the driver never goes up doing the advance, right?
And Murphy's involved. Murphy can get all into this. This is like a playground.
So if I hadn't had a pocket trauma kit, I wouldn't have had anything. And sometimes I even put a regular first aid kit, so I have bandages and all that stuff with me, because the next thing, you don't want to look like a douchebag to the client and pull out a tourniquet to stop kind of like a bleeding on his finger or whatever, and you always look prepared, right?
Yeah.
Then I know people say, I carry my day pack with me all the time, and I get that, but truth of the matter is I'm not a backpack kind of guy. I mean, I typically operate in jeans, T-shirts, maybe I have a North Face vest on or an oversized shirt or whatever. So it has to be on my belt. And by being on my belt, I can't look like an undercover cop or whatever, right? So I'm really low on what I can carry. So typically a pocket trauma thing, and then make sure to carry kind of like the trauma stuff is the most important thing. Mm-hmm. And then a small, like little first aid pouch, actually focus research, not to kind of advertise anybody.
Yeah, but
one of the issues that I also have is I have so many people around the world. So to stock up on something that's stocked is kind of the way to go, because how else do I control what the different people carry, right? Because what you carry also has to be what you're insured for.
Yeah.
And what you actually is allowed to do and stuff like that. So I have this little pouch here who has like Band-Aid, alcohol wipes, all the little burn gel, lip ointment, all the little electrolytes, all the little stuff, right? And these two
right there, prepackaged.
Yeah, fits in your pocket. But there's another thing people forget when they walk around, and this is a big thing when you travel a lot. I typically throw these two in my back pocket or in my vest pocket, which is 2 escape masks, one for the client. They're not smoke masks.
Okay.
That doesn't exist in this form. But they're escape masks, meaning that you can pull them over like a little hoodie so you don't get stuff in your eye, and there's a small filter that you can breathe through. And of course, depending on how bad it is, varies how long time it is, right? But there's a lot of things to it. I mean, of course, it has an actual function, but it also has a psychological function, right? You know how it is. If you give somebody a radio and say help will come, they will look at this radio until help gets there.
Yeah.
Give them an escape mask and escape, that'll kind of make them think of something else, and you can go out and kind of do stuff, right?
Deal with it. Yeah, you can deal with other problems.
Exactly. And the thing about it is that when you travel, you also need them for hotels and whatever. And the reason why I carry 2 is that one doesn't last very long, and I have one for my client, but I also have 2 with me. Yeah. If I'm on the go. And I use this little pouch here from Tap Gear that kind of opens up. And I have all my stuff typically stuffed in here. Mm-hmm. I have the smoke masks. I'm going to put this one here. I have this one here. And then I typically put in my key thing. So it looks like this when I open it up, and it has all the different stuff. I mean, I got my kind of small first aid thing here. I got what do you call these things in English?
Tweezers.
I got something here that can kind of like
a balm, like a lip balm.
Kind of like menthol, and you can smell it. So something kind of like you need to make sure that the client is there, and you don't want to squeeze them or whatever, or if their nose is too or whatever.
Yeah.
My lip thing, I got the most important tool of the EP agent to write on my
tourniquets and
the silk pen.
Yeah, sure.
Little marker for agendas and stuff like that. I, of course, got my little Surefire notepad.
Right in the rain, man.
And then I got this thing, which I really enjoy. It's for keys, like hard keys.
Yeah, I've seen those. I haven't tried them yet.
Well, it actually comes with a tile in them, so you can trace them if you lose them. It comes with a small flashlight if you had charged it like I haven't. Oh. And the cool thing about it is that I can break off and have either the car key or whatever, right? And you can carry it in your pocket, so it's kind of like easy access or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us used to carry the carabiner for the car keys or whatever, so we don't lose them.
Yeah, man.
I know. But again, I'm trying something else. And this technology, man. Then I always carry an extra toothbrush, because if you travel a lot, there's always a chance that you lose your
toiletries
and you lose whatever. And also the other thing is if you're with your day pack and you eat on the go all the time.
Oh yeah,
it's not always the most healthy stuff, so you don't want to smell like whatever you ate that day.
Burgers.
And then I started adding these that I pick up in the airport, which is like small pockets of wet wipes. They actually have them for like $1.50 or whatever in the airport.
And that's another one of those small items that clients, I feel like, have appreciated. Wet wipes, hand sanitizer. When they see you have that and they need it, it's like, boom, level up. You get like 2 points each time.
Exactly. Then at the moment, I carry this Stiletto Flashlight from Surefire.
Okay, sweet.
Big gear guy, like I said. I mean, if it's this one or another one, it doesn't really matter as long as you have a flashlight.
Yeah, light source.
It's a little screwdriver with different Phillips heads and stuff like that. This is important because it's one of the ones that you can use to tighten up sunglasses and glasses in general. People are all big into tactical pens. I don't really know if it works or not, and I'm kind of like, I carry a tactical pen. To me, it's kind of like, what can a tactical pen do that a regular pen can't do? But everyone, I really like this Surefire one because it looks like a regular pen.
It actually looks like a regular pen. Yeah.
It does. And
how tactical is it if it looks like a tactical pen?
Exactly. And my whole thing is like, I paid almost $100 for this, and that's the reason why I have it with me all the time, because I actually have a pen that I paid for, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then I carry this one in my day pack, which is one of the power locks that I've kind of shown on videos and stuff before. The reason why I carry this one is that, first of all, if I'm in a hotel, I can use this to lock the door. But the other thing is also, nowadays when we talk active shooter and all that stuff, if I think I'm going to go out and fight an active shooter, even if I'm armed, I'm not really an EP agent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So my job, no matter where I am, if there's an active shooter, is to run away if we can and if we can get out of it, stuff like that. But when you really think about it, most of my clients work in these really busy business districts, right?
Yeah.
These really tall buildings and stuff like that, or big campuses. So if there is an active shooter, the chances of us getting to the car, relatively small. And secondly, if we get to the car, can we drive anywhere? So I always have to think that one through and say to myself, if I have to hide somewhere, I need to be able to barricade the door. This one can do that, and it can barricade the door. I can leave it behind, and we can run. So I can make an obstacle that might give us the time that we need. And at the same time, it can help me when I'm in hotels and stuff like that, and it doesn't weigh much. So it's always in my day pack, and it's actually pretty cool because TSA doesn't even. No, well, it's not that it's illegal or anything, but it's more like they don't really pull me aside for it, which is another thing that's important to me because, like I said, I travel all the time.
Yeah.
And
so
what
was that tool called again, and where can we find it?
Which one?
The door stopping mechanism. I've been seeing it around.
Called Adalock.
Adalock.
And like anybody else who travels a lot, you probably have an Amazon Prime account because what else would we do at night, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm guilty of that too, and that's where I got most of my gadgets, and it's like $10 or whatever. So
I'm going to put all this stuff up on an Amazon store for the podcast too.
Yeah, you should. And lastly, I carry a roll of duct tape. Yeah, and the reason for this is again it goes back to fire safety. And if you have to barricade yourself in a room or whatever, you can actually make it somehow smoke-proof or dust-proof by taping the doorway all the way around, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
And if you can't fix it with duct tape,
it's not worth fixing anyway, right?
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
then, I hate showing this, but since I'm on the road all the time, this is kind of like my cable thing.
Wow.
Like cables for everything, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm big into is that, like I said, I live on the road, and these days I'm actually, to be honest, and I know people are going to hate me now, more businessman than I'm actually an EP agent. Because I do a lot of traveling where I do presentations and stuff like that. And my whole thing is there's nothing worse than the people who come through a presentation or something and they cannot connect.
Because they don't have the gear.
They don't have the right cable or whatever. So I'm actually pretty proud of having a connection for everything.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's also one time we were in the deepest part of Africa.
Yeah.
We couldn't communicate with this plane that came in because the charger was broken. So we couldn't charge this radio, and we weren't responsible for this. But me and my buddy look at each other, and we go like, how does that charger look? And you literally dump out all your adapters and whatever.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
And eventually we managed to charge the adapter or the radio, right?
Mm-hmm. Connector to connector to charger to connect. Yeah,
exactly. I carry a few of these always, for charging in the car.
Mm-hmm.
We're pretty big on carrying these things around now that we give to all our clients. It's the data blockers. So we kind of, every time you charge in a USB cable, there's a chance that when you pull out power, there's a chance that they pull out information.
Yep.
So when you put these in between them, so it kind of become a one-way cable. So it's only you who can charge. They can't go the other way.
Awesome.
So that means I don't have a problem charging on the plane. I don't have a problem charging. And whenever we go to a hotel room and we prep for the client, we put these in all the USB ports. So if they should, you tell them they shouldn't use them, but that's not the same as they don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So you put these in there, at least you've done your due diligence, right? And you try it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I also try to buy all my gear so adapters kind of fits, so I kind of get it down to as little as possible. So I use the same cable for my iPad as I use for my computer. Mm-hmm. I use the same cable for my phone as I use for my modem and stuff like that. We're big on carrying, I don't know if you've seen these Skyroams.
No.
When you go around the world, you don't need to get a new SIM card everywhere you go. It's $10 a day, and you can use unlimited data all around the world. Everywhere there's mobile connection, right?
Yeah, man, this podcast right here is already worth.
Yeah, the cool thing about this for me is, if you can imagine, you have 600, 700, 800 agents that travels, right? Okay. If they all have an account that needs to be built or built back to the client or whatever, we can actually manage this by giving them these modems and schooling them and using them, because all of a sudden you only have a $10 data. right?
Wow.
And there are people who is used to traveling to Nigeria or whatever that knows that the prices for data can easily be jacked up. So if you have, let's say you have 2 guys there for 10 days that has to pay $100 in data, that's $2,000, right? Are you going to be able to invoice that back to the client, or how does that work, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of things you have to think about with that whole thing.
What was that piece called?
It's called a Skyroam.
Skyroam.
Yeah, Skyroam, baby. And it also has a power bank in it. And the cool thing for us is we put this stuff in the cars. So when the client comes in after a long flight or whatever, and they go, "Hey, Christian, how do I get on the internet here?" I go, "Just log on to my Skyroam, and we make a code that's really easy and stuff like that." So
3-point shot.
It's one of those things, if you sit with them and you get stuck in traffic, they complain, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you can tell them that, hey, there's cold drinks and you can log on to the internet so you can do your emails while we get to the hotel. It's just easier.
It's much easier than they're not paying attention to the turns you're making and what color it is. And, like.
Yep.
Lessons of friction, man. You got to be thinking about it. That's good stuff.
And then the last thing I carry is these. I don't know if you've seen these. They're a little expensive.
Okay.
But, it's kind of like a power bank on steroids.
I was going to ask you about power source.
They're the biggest ones you can carry legally on the plane, right? And you can actually charge your full laptop 2 or 3 times on these, meaning that you can charge your phone 6, 7, 8 times, or your iPad 4 or 5 times, or whatever, and you can charge up to 5 devices at the same time and all that stuff.
Outstanding. And that's what's that called?
This one is from Omnitech, but I had 2 different models I test out. I have a Gold Zero one, and I have this Omnitech one. The Gold Zero one is a little bit bigger, but I kind of like it a little bit better because it's more sturdy, but it also takes up a little bit more room.
Yeah.
But the other one is from Omnitech, Omnicharge, sorry. And they both do the same thing. So
and it's just really a power bank. I would look up Omnitech power bank.
Yeah. Power bank on steroids. Pretty much.
Yeah, right. That's enough apple juice for days in there.
It is. And then on my kind of like side of being able to have a good life like everybody else, I have noise canceling headphones.
Mm-hmm.
I have my iPad, which of course like everybody else on Netflix and whatever. I carry a small speaker, which is pretty important to me because I can listen to music and stuff like that, but I can also do conference calls and whatever else. What else do I carry? I carry one of these Answer card holders from Jens Answer, a Danish knife maker.
Huh.
I always have business cards in good quality. I don't know if you guys ever have had that thing. You have them in your wallet, and you go to the king's palace of someone,
and you better have a card. That's a thing.
You better have a card, but it can't look like it's the only one you ever had, and you had it in your wallet for 20 years. Right?
And it's been in the dishwashing machine.
Exactly. So
you gotta have something that can protect your cards.
Exactly. And then I just picked up one of these, which I think is really cool. A lot of times, I work on planes, I work in the lounge or whatever, and I want to keep my backpack handy so I can see it at all times or whatever, so it doesn't get stolen. And there's actually one of these, you can clip them in and you can clip your backpack in and it can kind of like hang everywhere.
Right there next to you.
Yeah, but you can also hang your jackets, or you can kind of like put keys in it, or a bundle or whatever.
Yeah.
And is it necessary? I don't know, but they had it in REI last time I was there, and I actually have gotten to use it quite a bit. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess I always just grab a chair and put my bag on it, so that's just as good. Now my bag's right there.
Is. Yeah.
Stuff.
So
that's what's up.
Good. What else do I carry? At the moment, I know you know these. I'm pretty.
Oh yeah.
With the EP back, I actually made an upgrade to it.
Yeah.
So it makes this
I carry
bulletproof panel.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do this so you can see it for their backpack, and it actually fits in right here in the back. So there's a bulletproof panel and this one in the back, right?
Outstanding.
This little bag has gotten even better for me because all of a sudden if I had to, I can kind of put it up like this, right? And strap it up or tighten it up. And I would have at least something that reminded you of some kind of body armor. Absolutely. And it weighs nothing. TSA had no problems with it, whatever. And it's actually pretty cool. And I would even say that by pretending you had something, 9 out of 10 times I don't carry internationally, or actually you never carry internationally.
Mm-hmm.
But the back fits into, you can strap in your pistol on top of it or whatever. And use them for quite a few active shooter setups as well. It works pretty well. And if I don't use that one, I normally right now carry this tag gear. I'm a big fan of the tag gear stuff. I don't know why, but I guess I am. I like it better than most. And if I want to be real incognito, I'm trying to run this Maxpedition back mostly because it looks
like a back.
Tactical as it does, right?
Yeah, it looks kind of just like a backpack.
Yeah, exactly. I'm big into trying to blend in and don't give out the EP look or the contractor look, especially when I'm overseas and stuff like that. There was nothing worse than taking the plane out of Dubai like 10 years ago, and it would be the 511 Brigade.
Yeah, the 1022.
And I'm a big 511 fan. There's nothing wrong with that. In my book, I actually use a lot of their shirts. I use a lot of their T-shirts, and especially their new line. I absolutely love it.
They have transitioned their game quite a bit. I'm actually wearing a lot of their stuff now.
Exactly. Actually,
are awesome.
If you saw, I posted that I use my Louis Vuitton bag.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And
that's awesome.
Right now, out of 511 stuff, right? So you have your max preloaded, and even if you have to use it like a go bag, right? You throw your bag in, and you can preload all your magazines and then just dump it into the bag, and nobody will pay attention to it. And you come out with, if I kit this up and for pistol only, I can have 30 pistol max on it.
Done.
That should be enough, right?
That can get you home. What is? I hope the bulletproof panel. Do you mind that you have in the EP admin bag? The one I use as well. Get one of those. Those things are awesome. Yeah. Where'd you get that? What type of panel, or where'd you get that? Did you have to get it custom, or somebody do it?
No, actually, this one Tactia makes for their backpacks. So it's the same that fits in this one, right?
Okay.
And by coincidence, when I was sitting here playing with it, and I call it research and development, right? Of
course.
This way you can kind of like maybe take some of your gear and get it paid for by the state, right?
I'm with you, man. I do it. Yeah.
Somebody has to research this stuff, right?
we got to take it out in the field and make sure it's good, make sure it works.
Right, and you need to buy this because if it doesn't work, then you can't really put your life on it, right?
Right.
But actually, the panel, and it's really cool. It's a stiff panel, and it's level 3A. Of course, it would be nice if it was more than that, but better. And you know what's really cool about it? I didn't bring one here today. Mm-hmm. Fits in your little laptop bags as well. So even if you had a laptop with you, right, in a little laptop bag, you could put this in here, and that would still kind of like cover most of the same as a hard plate, I guess. Yeah. That's
what I was thinking. The second you pulled it out, I was like, that looks like fit right into my laptop.
It does. So
so that's good for most backpacks that have a laptop compartment, essentially.
I think so. On the there's actually a bunch of bulletproof panels if you go on Amazon as well. The cool thing about this one from Maxpedition is I got a soft body armor panel that I didn't bring in. I only paid like $110 for it, but it fits in the big room here in the back. And actually, if you have to walk for long distance of time, sits in the thick upholstery.
You are now listening to an EDC episode of the podcast. Please keep in mind that anything that's referenced on the podcast as far as gear is also made available in my Amazon store. So visit Byron's Amazon store to scoop up any of the gear we talk about. And this is a series, man. So the EDC episodes are going to keep coming as I talk with new professionals. And we're going to get more and more information on what people are carrying and operating with out there in the game. Enjoy. Boom. Hey, what's going on, you guys? Byron Rodgers with Executive Protection Lifestyle. We're doing our next chapter in our EDC considerations, and I've got Ivor Terret with me today. How you doing, Ivor?
Great, Byron. Thanks for having me on the podcast again. This is a privilege, and it's awesome.
Yeah, man. It's always an honor. Your last episode, bro, if you look, and SoundCloud is one of our top 3 trending episodes, man. So all the stuff we talked about on covert protection, and it's on point. It's good stuff.
Cool. Awesome.
So I'm glad to have you back. So just real quick background for folks that didn't hear that one, and then we'll get into the EDC.
Okay, sure. So I've been in the industry for since late 1992. I'm not going to do the math now. If we're good at math,
Yeah, right.
So 1992, a lot of it operational. I'm not that operational anymore. did some government work, service in the IDF, bit of time in the Israeli police, and then working with friendly agencies around the world. Right now, I run a small consultancy, Enablement Advisors, and we provide services to multinational corporations and ultra high net worth.
Awesome. Solid, man. For those of you who don't know, Ivor's well respected in the industry. He's just one of those guys that he's been teaching and contributing for a while. So good to have him, man. So EDC stands for Everyday Carry.
Yep.
Everyday Carry considerations. What do you suggest? Why do you suggest it? How do you approach it?
It's actually a great topic. And I think it's quite interesting, actually.
Yes. Good.
So what does everyday carry mean? And that's a rhetorical question. Are we talking about firearms? Are we talking about other kit? And the answer is, it depends. Mm-hmm. And it boils right down to the beginning of everything we talk about, which is, what are the risks that we're trying to mitigate with these tools? What is probable and critical that can happen to us, or if we're working to our clients that we're looking after, or the fixed site that we're protecting, or whatever we're doing. So I'm of the mindset that I like to have what I need, but only what I need. I like to travel light.
Okay. Right? Kind of minimalist.
Absolutely. I don't like to be bogged down with a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes, especially in the covert realm, it complicates things. Right? So if the risk doesn't warrant that I carry, 2 spare mags, for example.
Yeah.
How am I going to explain 2 spare mags in a firearm if I'm going to a secure area? How does that fit with my cover story? How does it work if it's 100 degrees outside? And then if I'm concealing it in a bag, maybe I've got a purpose-specific bag made to look like something innocent, but it's really got all my gear in it. Then have I been training with that bag? Have I been with that on the range? Or do I travel or train with it on my hip? Yeah. So whatever we carry, we must train with it as we carry, and only carry what we need. So something I'm fond of carrying is an IFAC. So basic emergency medical stuff.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, unless we're in really a rural area or a developing country, emerging market, as we say, unless I'm in an area like that, usually there's good emergency medical services just a few minutes away. So I don't need more than that. I just like to have that sort of stuff. To me, that's more important than weapons for everyday carry. Now, maybe that's where I am. I live in Israel. Yes, there's crime. Yes, there's terrorism. But it's not, I feel safer here than I do some other places, first world countries, walking downtown at night.
Yeah.
So to me personally, that's more important. That sort of thing. A multi-tool is very useful, sometimes with or without a blade, depending where I am.
If you can get a blade in or out, kind of.
And if I need it.
Yeah.
To me, what's important, a good pair of pliers and something to cut a seatbelt if I have to help take someone, or if I have to help myself out of a vehicle. Those things are more important to me than the weapons and stuff if I'm not working. Right? Work is different for everyday carry. And risk, location, cover, everything else will determine or define what I'm going to use at work. And then again, whatever I'm carrying, I need to train with that. So if I'm carrying a weapon concealed, I need to train exactly as I'm going to be working, and I need to use it at work exactly as I've trained to use it. Or to train it. So that's a definite. Those are my considerations.
So it's relative to the mission. So it's not like a one thing. You always have these things on you.
It's a tool.
So it's relative to do the job.
Exactly the same thing as if I'm working on a great classic motor vehicle with carburetors, I'll need different tools than if I'm working with a fuel injected vehicle or a computer-based vehicle, right?
Right.
It's different. So it's based on what we're doing.
I think it's interesting. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, of course, we have this standard everyday, what's my preference to carry. But on the whole, it's a tool. It's the same as what watch am I going to wear, right?
Yeah.
Watch is great. It's a fashion statement, but it's also a tool. So if I'm going now if I've got a 3-week trip, am I going to wear a rechargeable watch that I've got to take a charger with, a USB charger, or am I going to take a self-winding watch? I'm going to take a quartz watch that can run out of battery. So what's the right tool for the job? because that's really what we carry. It's tools.
Yeah, absolutely.
More importantly, ask me, what shoes I wear. So that's sort of thing, that's everyday carry to me. That's what's really important.
Yeah. Okay.
And as I get older, I'm moving away from the combat-related stuff and more towards the medical stuff. To me, maybe carrying an aspirin for someone is as important, if not more important, than a firearm.
Yeah.
Unless the risk warrants the firearm.
Because that aspirin, when a client's got a headache or something's going on, or even worse.
Or when they're having a heart condition and you want to just put out the blood real quick, because there's more chance of that happening in most situations than getting into a running, gunfight, Ninja Viking acrobatics, right?
Ninja Viking acrobatics.
But it's true. If it's needed, if the risk warrants it, absolutely go full out.
Full Ninja Viking.
Full Ninja Viking, but only what you need. We could go in and we could say, we might need this, and I might need water purification tablets, and I might need a multi-purpose zombie knife, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's okay, if I need it. So if I'm going on safari in Africa, or in the Far East, or up the mountain somewhere, absolutely take your survival gear. Do I need that downtown Vegas? Probably not.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I'm saying. It's all about what we need.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. But what shoes do you wear though? Because hey, that's health, man. Whether you're a grunt in the field or you're a bouncer standing at a door next to a stage. Me and my buddies have had some conversations about this. Go ahead.
Rockport Echo. These are good shoes. You can't go wrong with Timberland. Depends what I'm wearing. But those are the directions I go in. I've actually just got some Australian work boots.
Okay.
Called Bluntstones.
Called what?
Bluntstones.
Okay.
Recommended for everyone. They're fantastic. They work great with everyday stuff. Work well with jeans. Non-slip soles. Very little arch support, so you're not overcompensating with stuff. And they're robust, very, very robust, and they look good.
Awesome.
So check those out at REI, and I don't get a percentage. I'm not sponsored by them.
No, this is good gouge, man. Me and my buddies have have had great conversations about Cole Haans versus Echoes because it's health, man. You're on your feet all day, every day, and you gotta look good and you've gotta be efficient.
But again, everyone's feet are different and everyone's jobs are different, so it depends. But I'll give you an example. I was doing work in Mumbai, India. Have you been to Mumbai?
Yes, sir.
And I had my favorite pair of Rockports on there. But I'd been wearing them for a while, but I didn't realize quite how much time I'd spent in them until it rained. And that beautiful Mumbai water came up through the sole of one of my shoes.
No.
Yeah. So shoes are critical. Make sure they're in good condition. Never, ever wear new shoes on a job. Wear them in. Take them out, wear them on the weekend, wear them at home, just like your army boots. Those first few days can be hell, right? So never wear your army boots when you're on an operation. Same thing. Another thing which is very important to me, sunglasses. I know that there's folks that have the mindset that if you're doing COVID, you can't wear sunglasses. I'm of the mindset that if there's a glare, wear sunglasses, right? It's a tool. You're protecting your eyes. We only got one set. And it's a tool. You don't have to go full tactical Oakley, but you can absolutely wear sunglasses. That's a huge one when it's sunny. Don't wear them indoors or when it's not sunny. But if you're working outdoors in the sun, to me, that's everyday carry. What's going to help me do my job?
Yeah, absolutely.
That I use all the time. And then, of course, there's the emergency stuff if I'm expecting an emergency, and I'll prepare for that. But it's based off what's tangible, what's probable. Yeah. So am I driving with the principle? Fantastic. Maybe I'm going to have a fire extinguisher in the vehicle, or one of those balls. I don't remember what it's called. I've actually got it in my private vehicle. It's a cool little ball that you throw into a fire, and the heat makes it explode and puts the fire out.
Oh, I do know what you're talking about. We'll have to look them up. We'll put some links in this thing.
Martin Nielsen was going to review it. He put something up on Facebook a while ago.
Okay.
I don't remember the name, but Martin will know the name. And that sort of thing. And that sort of thing I used probably a month ago. I was driving on the highway. The car in front had a mini explosion come out from underneath.
Wow.
The first thing that crossed my mind was in the Middle East was mini VBIT gone wrong, or assassination. The mafia often assassinates people like that here. The local mafia. Car pulled to the side. 3 youngsters got out, ran away from the car. They didn't look like they were anything, right?
Yeah.
So I got out and I gave the guy the ball and I said, toss it in your car, save your car. I wasn't going to do it. It's his car. He can do it.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff works. So that everyday carry stuff that I need. The medical stuff, definitely. Those are the stuff that, for me, is everyday carry. I'm not concerned about someone coming to do a hit on me or beat on me or anything like that. I don't feel that I need to have a firearm in me all the time. If I need it, I'll take it. But that's not every day for me.
Yeah.
That's everyday carry. And those are the considerations that I have is, what do I need? What tools do I need?
Yeah.
And what is too much to carry? What don't I need? Because we want to cut down. I find that often in our industry, we carry too much stuff because it helps us feel secure. And that's a totally normal thing because we're trained. Our DNA and our wiring is be ready for anything, be ready for that one time. But on the flip side, carry what you need for what is probable for that one time. Do I need a smoke mask if I'm traveling? Absolutely. If I'm in a hotel? Absolutely. Do I need it if I'm going to the beach? Probably not.
Yeah.
Right? Do I need a smoke mask if I'm going for a trail run or on my mountain bike? Probably not, because to me that's every day.
Right.
Do I need a smoke mask if I'm traveling with the principal? Maybe, but then shouldn't I have 2 or 3 smoke masks? Who's going to have the smoke mask, me or the principal? So all these things are important and they have their place, but what is the job? What is the probability? And what is the need? So I'm all for taking kits. I'm all for carrying what you need, but only what you need.
Awesome. What about, are there any standout specific pieces of gear that have been like faithful? Like, I really like my da-da-da-da-da when I work,
No.
That's what's up. No, this is one mind, many tools. I was like, okay, what do we got here? I'll make
on a serious note,
yes,
I enjoy Leatherman stuff. I enjoy Gerber stuff. Any of the big names, absolutely. Rockport, Echo, the shoes that I mentioned, the Bluntstones. Watches are a biggie for me. So watches are huge for me.
Why?
What am I doing? A watch is a tool. I love watches and I feel good with one, but they're a tool. So right now I'm wearing my Garmin, right? So
yeah, boy.
Good man. So what am I doing with this and how have I used it operationally? Okay. So the downside is it needs charged. But it lasts me probably a week or so with regular use if I'm not doing sports. But sometimes I'm in a city that I don't know. I don't necessarily know my north from my south, from my east, from my west. I don't always have a chance to look up at the sun or the horizon and see what's going on. Maybe I'm in a building, got my compass, I can pull it up, I know direction. It's got a barometer. I can tell if there's going to be a dramatic weather change. So stuff like that, it's absolutely got. Can do timings, can map routes, can even map driving routes with it. Right, so everything I need is here as a tool, but it doesn't look the fanciest. And then if I don't use those tools, then I've got a faithful Omega Seamaster, which is pretty much indestructible. Always keeps the time, never needs a battery. It's fantastic, and that combined actually with the sun, you can actually see north, south, east, west if you know the technique. Any watch really with a bezel. You can do that with a 12 o'clock and a bezel. So those are tools without a doubt, or that's a tool without a doubt. That shoes, clothes are pretty important.
Yeah.
Right? So get good quality clothing. You don't need to spend a lot of money, but if you're getting clothing that's made cheaper, it's going to tear easier. You're going to smell. You're going to get BO quicker. So all these things are important when we're working for our comfort, because if we're not comfortable, we're thinking about our discomfort. We're not thinking about our job. Human trait. If we're hungry, we're thinking about lunch or food or when we're getting a break, or we're thinking of the dick that didn't come replace us on time. And it's the same with clothes. If clothes don't fit you well, if they don't feel good, we're going to be thinking, I'm uncomfortable, pants are too tight, pants are too loose, I feel like I'm going to fall when I walk. So comfort is huge. I cannot stress it enough, especially when you're working operationally. And as you know, some days can be a 4-hour day where you're waiting, doing nothing, and some days can be a 21-hour day where you're just on the go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So comfort's important. Flashlight is important. So flashlight's important. I don't travel with the flashlight with the very cool and I'm not being sarcastic when I say it, but
no, get after it, man.
Tactical with a tactical bezel for the flashlight, for window breaking and skull smashing. I think it's awesome. No, I think it's an awesome tool.
Yes.
But am I going to get on an aircraft with it? If I'm working covertly, how am I going to explain having that?
Yeah.
Right? Do I really need it? And can it really smash something better than a regular flashlight? Yeah, as long as the flashlight's steel. Tactical pens. I'm a huge fan if it doesn't look like a tactical pen.
Boom.
Right?
Exactly.
I'm not going to use it for fighting. I'm not going to use it to stab someone in the cheek or break their skull. It's not, if I need to, but that's not the purpose. The purpose is, do I have to smash a vehicle window to help get someone out or help get me out? Right?
Yeah.
It's a tool. It's tactical, but not for the fighting aspect.
Yeah.
So, those are some of the tools that I would use or carry. But as I said, it's very minimalist. What do we call it in American English? The parachute cord, paracord, bracelets.
550 cord, paracord, yeah.
No issue with that, but I won't wear it on my wrist. I'll have it in my bag or in my pocket if I'm operational, if I think I'll need it. And where have I used it actually? I was with a client and they were using a rented Jeep, and they put the window down, or they wanted the window down, it folded upwards.
Yeah.
And the clip was broken, so we used some paracord to just secure it up. That's pretty much the only time I've used it in an operation.
That's real EP right there. That is really, everyone thinks it's so like high speed. That right there got you points with the client. It was a good day. That's good work right there, man.
We've all, well, some of us, there's been the more, risk.
High speed.
Exactly. But when that happens, you want the tool that's fit for the job, that you know how to use, that you've trained with. When I say trained with, we don't need to train to use a Leatherman. But that goes back to, am I carrying a knife for fighting? Do I know how to fight with that knife? What are the legal ramifications if I fight with that knife? And of course, there's I prefer to be tried by 12 than carried by 6, but within reason, right? Yeah, within reason. So do I know how to knife fight? Am I going to carry a knife? Why do I have a knife? Is it a tool? Or will a Leatherman do the same job? Or will a 2-inch blade do the same job to cut something? Where am I?
Yeah.
Am I in Silicon Valley or financial district of New York City? Or am I going through a jungle in Colombia?
Yeah.
So what am I doing? That's pretty much.
That's the game, right?
I think I got my point across. Yeah, carry what you need what you carry. Use it, train with it. I'll tell you a story. Quick story. I know that you said there should be 10 minutes, but we've been going 15.
It's all good.
Quick story. When I was younger and I had lots of hair and it wasn't white.
Yeah,
I've got a little bit of hair now.
I like the haircut though. I like the haircut today.
So I used to carry a fanny pack. Okay.
You guys like your fanny packs. In Israel, you guys rock the fanny packs. Man.
Right. So I used to carry a fanny pack when I was right at the beginning of my career, if you will. In my fanny pack, I had a firearm and all my stuff. And one day my colleague/commander said to me, "We're going to the range." This wasn't in Israel, by the way. This was another country, right? They said, this was in Cape Town in South Africa. So the guy I was working for said, "Come, we'll go to the range." So I said, cool. And South Africa had just got, this was early 90s. They had just got the, video simulation shooting things.
Okay.
Where you stand in a room and it projects the scene on the wall and it's a video and you shoot into the wall. And So South Africa had just got it, was new, was the only one in Cape Town. He said, "Come, let's go." So I said, cool. So we get to the range and I've got my holster behind my hip and my weapon. And he says, no, not like that. He says, "You came in here with your weapon in the fanny pack. Put it in the fanny pack." And the scenario came and I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, where do I start? I can't open it and it's falling off and hold on. Right. Because I didn't train like that. So that was a fantastic lesson that I learned in a training environment. And since then I preach, train like you carry like you train. And that's for everything, right? So there's small tips if we talk about everyday carry.
Yeah.
On my weapon side, if I'm carrying a weapon, I'll never have anything else on that side of my belt, right? Because under stress, you grab, and I bring up my flashlight. What am I'm going to shine at the guy now instead,
Yeah.
Don't carry stuff right up against your mag pouches because in a hot situation, you want to draw your mag. and you want to be looking at the target. I don't want to be fumbling and saying, I got my Leatherman or I got my radio. Let me just look what's going on. So separate the emergency stuff from the other stuff. Separate your weapon and your magazines from the other stuff.
Yeah.
And practice like that. You see someone who's training firearms, and I know you're pretty big in firearms and you live that lifestyle, which is cool.
Yeah.
America, fuck yeah, that's awesome. But
Right.
You know, watch the guys that train and see who, when they're on the range and they're looking at the target, holsters their weapon while they're looking at the target, and see who has to look at the holster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's the guys that are looking at the targets that are more comfortable with their setup. That's where you want to be.
Yeah.
So, and that goes back to everyday carry.
Mm-hmm.
Carry like you train like you carry.
Like you carry. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that goes to whatever you're using. I just did a fantastic TECC class, so TCCC, but for civilians.
Yeah.
And the instructor, who's a former Special Forces guy, said a very smart thing.
Awesome.
They said, if you're carrying your tourniquet and with your little pack and it comes all wrapped up in plastic, open it. Because if you have to apply it on yourself and you've got blood and stuff, you're not going to be able to open that. So it's the stuff like that. It's the small things. Get ready what you might need. Prepare everything. Don't carry what you don't need, folks. It's just uncomfortable. It makes us hot. It makes us heavy. And if you're working covertly, it can prevent you doing your job if it doesn't suit your cover and cover story. So those are really the keys.
You're printing. Yeah, no, that's awesome stuff, man. I love it. I love that the conversation evolved from specific pocket items into principles, because I think that's more valuable for the end user. You know, like even the stuff about, you know, the clothing considerations, the footwear considerations, like these are the types of things that are really like on a daily basis, you need to do these types of things, right?
Absolutely.
And they're major considerations for guys out there in the field, you know, because those are the things that make you make mistakes, you know, and all of it's important. But yeah, that's like the real field craft. You know, how do you look? How do you present? How does the way that you're dressed going to cause you to perform? You know, and what considerations go into what you have on your body? This is what we're talking about. It's good stuff.
Exactly. And another thing is, in addition to listening to this podcast, which I know is going to have a lot of good folks together giving their input. Mm-hmm. Everyone has their own philosophy. Everyone has their own body. Everything has what works for them. That's just mine. Mm-hmm. I like to go minimalist. That's me. No one's wrong. That's just what works for me. That's the one thing. The other thing, to everyone who's watching, and I know there's good people that are going to be giving great input to this podcast. In addition to this, do what you do and ask on social media. I've seen a lot of posts say, what shoes do you recommend? What tailors do you recommend for a suit? Those are good questions. Keep on asking. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to try new things. Mm-hmm. I still try new things all the time because it's not always suitable for a job. And make sure you travel with what you need, right? So we're traveling EP and only what you need. Mm-hmm. A very, very experienced EP agent told me many years back, they said they only travel maximum of 4 days worth of stuff. Anything else they can buy or launder.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. 4 days worth of stuff. So
what was the reason?
The reason was that they don't have to check a bag.
So it's fluid, the carry-on status,
Exactly. So they can get off the aircraft and go, and anything they need, they can buy, right? Because you got your company credit card, you get authorization, you expense it within reason. You know, I've had an agent come out to Israel that I was supporting a few years back. Their luggage got lost. So I picked them up from the airport and we went to go buy a suit, because the next day the principal was coming and they were presenting, you know, a keynote speech in a formal environment. Yeah.
And that can happen.
Absolutely.
I've seen it happen multiple times.
Exactly. And if the folks watching this understand the principles of why do we choose things, the what we choose is easy. Yeah. Do I really need this tack pen, or do I want to spend money and get a nice quality regular pen that doesn't look tactical, but it's made of stainless steel? It's going to do the same job, right?
Yeah. Exactly, man.
And I'm not against the tack pens. I'm just saying there are options out there. Where am I going? Yeah. Do I want to be the gray man, or do I want to be the guy with a tactical pen?
Right.
And I carry a tactical pen sometimes. I like it. But do I need it always? There's other options. Maybe I'm going to go spend $100 on a pen, which isn't even mid-range. But if it's stainless steel and I've got to break a window with it, I can break a window with it.
Yeah, I can drive it. Exactly. I dig it, man. No, that's good stuff. You said a lot of good stuff in there. And
another thing, important belt, quality belt. You don't need a gun belt unless you're carrying a gun, but a quality belt is important. You don't know what you're going to clip on it. You need to hold your pants up, but you want something that's not going to fall apart and that you can use for your tools if you need to. Another thing, sorry to cut you off because you've got me going now.
Get after it. No, I've got time.
A fantastic tool for EP if you're working armed or unarmed, right? I'm pretty sure they're available in the States. We use them here quite often. It's an elasticized belt that you just slip on. It's very broad, elastic with Velcro. You just put it closed and it's got all your pouches for your kit.
Wow.
So it's used for two things. One, it's used for covertly. You can put it under your jeans and cover it with the top.
Yeah, belly band is what they call those.
Belly band. But more than that, if I'm going to sleep and I'm in a mid to high risk situation and I've got all my tools, even if there's no firearm in there, maybe it's got my flashlights and my smoke hood and my ID hat, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
It's really next to my bed. If I get up and I've got to bolt to my principal's room, I just throw it on. I don't need to put stuff in my belt and loop things through. I don't need to struggle putting my jeans up while I've got stuff on the belt that's catching now because I'm panicking and sweating, because that's going to happen, right? Just put it on, strap it around and go.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic for operational readiness when we're off duty at night.
Awesome.
Just a little tip there.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff. That belly band, I'm sure that's come up a couple times.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. Especially at night.
Yeah.
Especially when we're on our downtime, right? So, because you can just throw it on. Everything's there. It's the equivalent of throwing your pack on, right? Your webbing.
Yeah.
Ready. It's the equivalent.
Yeah, it's like civilian deuce gear. It's like, it's like your kit. It's your kit. It's your you normally have all your trash on.
Right. So when you go to bed at the hotel, instead of putting your stuff on the nightstand, just throw it all in that belt so you can throw it on if you need to in an emergency. 10 seconds counts.
Awesome. Good to go. Good gouge. Anything else in there?
Stopping. I'm stopping.
Yeah, man. Hey, if anything else comes to mind, you let us know, man. I'm digging it.
Man, there's the other stuff, and I know folks that you mentioned that are going to be on the call are going to mention it, so I won't repeat it.
Yeah.
But there's the stuff like the access points and your spare charges for your phone.
Yes.
Stuff. There's all that basic stuff, but I know everyone else is going to touch on that.
Yeah.
But that's a biggie. So much so that if I find myself out and about and I haven't got that spare battery pack, I'll go in and I'll buy one wherever I am.
Yeah.
Even if I just want to got it at home at the hotel, it's critical. But I know who you've got coming, and I know they're going to mention it because I've worked with all of them. So
okay, good to go. Good to go. No, I thank you, brother. Okay, I think we pretty much covered it. Unless you got anything else you want to drop on the drop to the audience.
No, just keep on doing what you're doing. These podcasts are good. They're good for the industry. They're good for you, but they're good for the industry. It's a very positive thing you're doing. So I appreciate it. And keep on doing it, man. I listen to them. I like them. Keep on doing it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ivor. I appreciate that, man. It's an honor. And that's the goal, man, is to contribute to a higher quality security professional. Have these conversations I wish I was able to have when I was kind of learning, and I'm still learning. And I get to talk to all you cool guys and like all you guys that are on this, up on that level that are, I get to talk and get the message and the information out. It's an honor. It's really been a passionate project. I really been enjoyed. So yeah, thank you, man.
You're getting traction. You're getting people, right? People are talking about it. People are recommending it. And there's other great podcasts out there, and this is one of them. So, whoever just spent the last 15, 20 minutes listening to me on this, you're on the right podcast. Listen to the other stuff as well.
Heck yeah. No, thank you so much, Ivor. I appreciate that, man. I actually just got notified that one of the episodes is being used in a college course that a guy that I was talking to. Yeah, so that's
awesome.
For homework, they're getting sent home and they have to listen. I think it's the first episode, actually, ironically, which I was kind of really wild about. So good things are happening. Thanks so much for your time, Ivor. I appreciate you. It's always an honor.
Keep safe. Keep doing it. All right, brother.
Yes, sir. All right. Take care. Talk soon.
Bye.
Out. Boom. Boom. And to support this podcast, go to executiveprotectionlifestyle.com and contribute to our Patreon account. That Patreon account is what helps me make this podcast possible, contributing to this brand, what we're doing here, making it so that I can bring better guests on, making it so that we can plan more events and just expand the contribution to the private security industry, and also to making America a safer place by teaching people how to protect themselves and the mindset behind that, the lifestyle behind that. You guys are already killing it. $1 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month, whatever you can do that you know you would probably just lose in the mattress anyway or spend on McDonald's. Hey, you want to put it towards something that's going to good use, put it towards a podcast, and get involved in our Patreon account at executiveprotectionlifestyle.com. And if you want to find me, that's ByronRodgersMotivation.com. Do whatever you can, contribute whatever you can to that Patreon account, because it makes all of these things possible, ladies and gentlemen. So much love. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you for making those contributions. You guys rock. We're already doing amazing there, and it's just because of you guys. So thanks once again for those contributions. Boom. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode of Executive Protection Lifestyle Podcast. This whole entire thing actually just started off as a Facebook group that blew up and is one of the fastest growing, if not the fastest growing, executive protection Facebook group online. So if you haven't joined the Facebook group, join the Facebook group. Follow us on Instagram and check us out at executiveprotectionlifestyle.com. If you want to find me, that's ByronRodgersMotivation.com, and I'm on all the social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook as well. So until the next podcast, y'all, stay sharp out there. And as I say it, one mind, many weapons. Talk soon. Out.